Hi guys, so today we're having a look at the Makeup Revolution Pro Hygiene Sanitizing Solid Brush Cleaner. Now this costs £5. For some reason it tells you that you get 100 millilitres or 3.38 fluid ounces, which is very strange because it's a solid cleanser. So that confuses me. It does look a little bit grubby because I've used it and it's got a very strange smell. I can't tell you what it smells like because I'm rotten at describing it, but it's definitely got a scent, possibly floral-ish, and there is definitely perfume listed in the ingredients. So I done my usual, took a selection of brushes, natural, synthetic, powder products, cream products, and gave them a wash and seen how this performed.
Right, so back in my downstairs bathroom, we're starting with my Nancy Flawless Foundation brush. So I'm just swirling this into the product. Now I haven't deep cleaned this brush in a while, but I have been cleaning it with like the spray and some paper towel pretty much daily. So I wasn't really expecting to have problems with this brush, but I was kind of wrong. So at this kind of first dunk into the cleanser, I don't think anything really came off into the brush. So I think what I've learned from this is maybe either dripping a little bit of water into the actual tub or just not squeezing your brush quite as thoroughly before you go and dunk it into the cleanser, or you're really not going to get much off. So as you can see, that is definitely not clean, but there was also definitely no kind of foam or suds or anything like that, you know, being generated by this brush soap. So as you can see, we've now added a little bit more water and we've finally got suds and lather. So I know that suds and lather aren't a sign of it being clean, but sometimes it's a nice sign that you've actually picked up some product. So I'm counting this as the first true cleaning for this brush. The first round we're just not going to count. So it's almost clean. A good chunk of what was on it is gone, but it still definitely needs another round. This is a really, really, really thick, dense brush, and I do use a fairly long-lasting matte foundation, so it is a little bit harder to kind of get off than, you know, like a lighter coverage kind of foundation. So I always, when it's this brush and this foundation, have to go in 2 or 3 times. So as you can see, I'm giving it a good scrub and a good squeeze, just trying to get as much as possible, but there's still definitely a bit of staining kind of in the middle there. So we'll give it another go. At this point I can't really smell the product, so I'm fine with that because I don't particularly enjoy whatever scent this product has. As I said in the intro, I really can't put my finger on what it actually smells like, but you know, it's got a synthetic scent and I don't particularly enjoy it. So you can see we're now getting way more foam, lather, suds, whatever you want to call it. So this is definitely a product that either has a layer on top that you have to kind of break through, or it just takes a little bit of kind of warming up. But yeah, so I'm trying to be a little bit gentle with this brush, but we're definitely kind of giving up at this point because it's clean enough to use and I don't want to overly scrub at it until it's damaged. So now I've got an angled brow brush. I last used this quite a while ago, and I used the Kat Von D brow pomade. So this has had a bit of time to set in, so this will be good to see how it deals with a very pigmented and, you know, kind of well set into the brush product. So there's definitely still product on there. So we'll go for round 2, and I'm making sure that I get it, you know, enough water that it should be foaming up, but it's definitely not foaming as much as the fluffy brush, but that is fairly normal. So these brow colours, they are crazy pigmented and things, so, you know, again, this isn't a brush that I would have expected to get clean first time regardless what product I'm using. And by the way, if anybody's wondering, I recently tried them out as a coloured eyeshadow base and I really, really loved the effect. See if you've got some of those Kat Von D brow pomades and you have something like the Urban Decay Moondust shadow, that's what I used it with. It was a great base. So that's that one clean now. So that's us had two synthetic brushes with creamy products. Now we have my MAC 227. So this is again a synthetic brush, but this time with a powder, because I always use this for my kind of brow bone area. So this one foamed up much better than the brow brush because, you know, it's just a little bit denser. But I did have something a little bit weird happening with this brush, which I tried to show on camera, but I'm not sure how well it's kind of came out. So did you see across my finger there, the water wasn't clear? It was kind of a weird dark greeny shade. It's very strange because I don't use this with dark shadows. So at this point I'm a bit sleepy and I'm thinking, oh man, when did I get dark eyeshadow on this? I need to clean this out more. Whereas I work out a little bit later what's probably actually happening with this brush, and it's not the first time. So those of you that have been around for a while, you might have seen the Real Techniques shampoo review, and dye came out of this brush and onto one of my other brushes. And I think this is what's happening again, because it's the exact same kind of colour as the brush that was stained, which happens to be the next brush that I'm testing this on. So this is one of my MAC 168s, and you can see the stain there on the side of it. Still never came off. So this is a natural bristle brush. I use it with powder blusher, and it's a good tester for, you know, soaps because it's white bristles and you would see, you know, whatever stains are left. But this pure brush will always be stained because it has some of the dye from that last brush that has just never ever ever shifted. So as you can see, that one came up nice and clean quite quickly without being too aggressive or having to, you know, repeat the process, which ultimately is going to be better for your brushes. So next we have a really, really dense, fluffy powder brush. This is from Kiko and I absolutely adore it. At this point I'm feeling glad that this cleanser comes in such a large, wide jar, because that brush fitted in there no problem, which is brilliant. Trying to clean that with the little bitty bits you get of the Beauty Blender solid cleanser, not so much fun. So again, this only gets used with powder. At the moment I'm using the Too Faced Sweet Peach powder and I love it, but this brush hasn't been washed in a longer amount of time than I care to actually admit to. So I did have to go in for a second round because some of the powder that's been on there has been settled in and made a home.
Right, so as you can see, I took a couple of goes with some of the brushes, but to be honest, I don't find that particularly, you know, unusual. I felt like I should have put a slight bit of water on this before I started, because the very first round I done, I felt like I wasn't even really picking up that much product. Now, I did try and show you guys that there was kind of dark water running off of this brush. The reason I was trying to show that is when I reviewed the Real Techniques brush shampoo, not only did dye come out of this, but it managed to stain this brush, and it looked like that was happening again. So I was a little bit worried, because when that happened with the Real Techniques, it was really, really harsh and my brushes felt scratchy and icky. But actually, these feel completely normal, soft, lovely. This guy still feels a tiny bit damp, and it's now like 14 hours after I've done that. So that's, you know, it's definitely not a quick dry kind of thing. I've still got a tiny bit of foundation left in this guy, but to be honest with you, I didn't want to just keep washing and keep washing and keep washing, partly because it could be bad for your brush, and partly it's really boring for you guys. But everybody seems back to normal, in their nice shape, fluffy. no strange scent left on them. So overall, I'm declaring this a win. I love that it's in a tub because that's what kind of annoyed me about the Beauty Blender Solid Cleanser when I used that. You know, it just kind of sat out and then I ended up with bits of it kind of going to waste and whatever. So yeah, I definitely think I will be using this quite regularly. Would probably repurchase as well. Although I have no idea how long it's going to take me to get through this amount. I feel like, you know, this little label in the packaging looks really quite, you know, DIY for such a large brand. But I won't hold that against them. So for me, definitely good buy product. Will be using very, 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 very regularly. Well, as regularly as I ever clean my brushes. I am a bit of a bad person for using the spray brush cleaner a lot and not deep cleansing them, but I'm trying to get better. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. Same if you have any requests. I'm going to rush off and go to work, and I hope you guys are having an awesome week and will have an awesome weekend.